Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off is one of those movies that you watch in today's climate and ask yourself, why is it even bad what Eddie is trying to do? This film premiered in 2003, and you have to constantly remind yourself of that when watching. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off not only tackles gender norms, but you also constantly hear stereotypical and old-fashioned language. The movie is about Eddie, who's the star of his baseball team, but his true passion is cooking. He's afraid of chasing his passion for cooking because his dad will be against it. Even Eddie's own friends are against it and think cooking is something meant for girls. But it doesn't just stop with thinking cooking is for girls. Eddie and his friends are on a baseball team that is coached by Eddie's own father. This is where we see the old-fashioned language. Eddie's father says the insult, "You hit like a girl." This is one of those lines that reminds you of the times that this movie is from. I feel like that insult isn't really said nowadays. The gender norms isn't just with Eddie and his cooking. One of Eddie's friends named Hannah is a part of the baseball team, but has to hide it from her mom and pretend to be a cheerleader. This is one of those things that more so speaks to the audience. I feel like the film is telling girls watching that they don't need to be a cheerleader and can join any sport even if it's boy-centric. Why I say that this is more so speaking to the audience is because Hannah's mom is actually supportive of her daughter playing baseball. Even when Hannah tells her mom that she's been lying about cheerleading, her mom says that she could tell Hannah was lying the entire time but still went along with it. The only complaint I've heard about this movie is that it doesn't show enough food. I'd agree that the movie doesn't show enough cooking or food in general, but it's probably because Disney had to make this enjoyable for children. It might be a movie about food, but showing food non-stop the entire time will make any child tune out. One of the most famous and memorable things from this movie is definitely the Eddie dogs. Many people have recreated Eddie dogs, and if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the only times a Disney movie had a food item become iconic. For those that know the ending of the movie, then you know that Eddie's dad comes around and becomes supportive of Eddie's cooking. Eddie does lose a big cooking competition, but at least he can now pursue his true passion with support from his father. Eddie's dad is also confronted by his baseball team for his old-fashioned language. It's a good wake-up call because Eddie's dad does change his way of thinking and talking. I'm surprised that when there was a woke mob going around, this movie didn't get canceled. People tried canceling almost everything at some point, but this movie survived. Although this film tackles gender norms, it's not extra with the wokeness stuff. The most controversial thing about this movie is probably just Orlando Brown. The one thing many fans agree on is that Eddie deserved to lose the cooking competition at the end of the movie. Eddie losing actually makes it better because it stays grounded and realistic. Just because Eddie's dad now supports his passion for cooking doesn't mean that Eddie will automatically win the competition. Eddie is the main character, but he loses to someone who has more experience with cooking. That's the more likely outcome that will happen in real life. But it's nice to see that Eddie isn't a sore loser. He lost the competition, but Eddie now has the support of his father and his friends. That's what Eddie wanted more than anything. They're all happy for him even though he lost, so in the end Eddie technically wins, but he wins in life. Although the movie released in 2003, it would always get played on Disney Channel, so many people have heard of this film even if they didn't watch it. Comment down below your opinion on this movie. Also, comment if you have ever tried to make an Eddie dog, but leave a like on today's video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more, and turn on post notifications to never miss out on an upload.